A very good afternoon. This is your Dr. Nagendra Papacheru. And today, the topic which I'm going to talk about how to write a short story and what are the steps which we are supposed to take in creative writing. And I know that you are pretty much familiar, like in our previous discussion, we talked about what is the length of the short story and what are the steps one should follow in writing a short story. So today I would like to focus on some more interesting questions like what are the important steps which involved to come up with a beautiful creative writing. Let us see. I hope you are going to find it very interesting. As we already discussed in our previous class, the length of the short story has to be always either from 152 or 1000 words. That would be an ideal way of writing a short story. Like it is always better, like when you talk about a short story, like let us talk about very simple topic and which are very relevant and which will try to attract lot of audience because that has to bring interest and even a curiosity among your audience so that it would be very effective when you start writing a creative writing. There are few steps which I wanted you to follow. Like before writing your short story, like consider some of the important things, which you need to follow, like exposition, rising action, climax, and falling action, resolution. These are all the few steps which I wanted you to follow, like when you come up with writing a short story with plot diagrams that sketches out of the story. Like one of the important points which I wanted you to talk about, that exposition, which means describing things, and the second important one is rising action, and third important point which one should follow while writing in creative writing, that is climax, and fourth one is falling action, and fifth important point is resolution. If you're able to follow all these steps carefully while writing, or maybe while coming up with a creative short story writing, your story is going to be fabulous. And after writing your story, like there are some questions which you need to follow. Let us look at what are those basic questions one should follow while writing a short story. One of the primary questions which I wanted you to follow is like, what is the basic plot of your story? Yeah, this is the question which we need to examine all the time, like while writing a short story. Like, what is the main basic plot of your story? What I wanted to tell you that let us consider like exposition, what we already discussed, and rising action, and climax, and falling action, and resolution. Yeah, these are all the very important steps when you develop plot in writing a short story which one should follow. And the second important question which I wanted you to follow is that is how did you develop the characters in your story? So this is very important because characters of that short story are very important, like to grab the attention from the reader, and as well as to create interest and to develop the curiosity among all the audience. So it's very very important. How do you develop and how do you connect all the characters in your short story, and what is the significance of each and every character in that particular short story? And third important question which I wanted you to follow is like that is how did you use dialogue in your story? So it's not only just coming up with only a beautiful names and even a characters, but apart from that, you need to come up with a very meaningful and contextual dialogues while writing a short story. So how did you develop all the dialogues? Like what is the importance or significance of that particular dialogue? So take care of all these things. In case if you did not use any dialogue, describe what effect the choice has on your audience. That is very important in case if you don't want to make use of any dialogue between the characters or among the characters. Make sure that how does it affect the reader or audience. The next important question which I wanted you to follow, that is, what literary devices, okay, did you include in your story, and what is their overall effect? Yeah, this is very important in any piece of literary writing, like because when you talk about poetry, like poets are always okay. Specifically, they use okay some literary uh, figures, like they are very important okay to create okay interest among the readers and even audience. So here one thing I wanted you to remember, like what are the literary devices. Let me give you some examples, like what are the literary figures okay one can use okay while starting your creative writing. One of the important things, it is always better like if you make use of okay some kind of metaphors or personifications or alliterations. There are many other, but that depends on okay what kind of short story you write. Okay, according to the context and according to the situation, if you are able to make use of okay different literary devices and which fit into those that particular context, it would be very effective, because this will make okay people to understand, that will also show the okay the standard of your language. And it is always better if you could make use some literary devices okay in your short story writing. The next important question which I wanted you to follow is, that is, what is the overall theme of your story? Like it is the almost okay the central point of your short story, which you need to rethink and re-examine and all the time, because until and unless you have a theme okay for your story, it's very difficult okay to come up with a beautiful short story piece of writing. So try to understand, try to examine all the time, like what exactly the theme of your story. And then how did you communicate this theme to your audience? That is also very important. Like, are you able to convey some message? Like, in what sense? Okay, like, what is the main purpose okay behind using this particular theme? Like, if you're able to follow, or maybe if you're able to examine, okay, before you write a short story, or even after writing a short story, like what exactly the theme and how did you communicate with the audience. These two important questions are very important in any kind of writing. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can contact me in person or maybe even on WhatsApp, and I would be very happy to contact you. Thank you so very much. And I thought it was very meaningful, and you understood and from this particular lesson. Thank you so very much, and I wish you have a great day.